In this presentation, we're going to talk about choosing to save, starting our saving and investing unit. And before we get into this presentation, which you have the notes in Moodle or in paper for you to take notes in the note-taking guide, we're going to switch over to this Power of a Penny presentation. So just follow along. You don't need to take any notes. But think about this situation. Congratulations, you have 2 job offers. Each job has a different pay option. You will work 5 days a week for 4 full weeks, and you want to make the best financial choice based on the following situations. So here's the possibilities. Option 1, for the first 20 days of work, you'll be paid $200 a day. Or option 2, the pay will be a penny for the first day. Each day the pay will double, so it'll be 2 pennies the second day, 4 the third, and so on. Which option will you choose? Option 1 or option 2? Think about what would be the best choice. Where do you think you'll make the most money? So let's talk about it then, after you've made your choice, hopefully. How much would you be paid if you chose option 1? 20 days times $200 a day is $4,000, and that is not bad for a month's worth of work. It's a good chunk of change. So now let's talk about a penny doubled a day. How much would you be paid if you chose option 2? So now, day 1 you get a penny, day 2 you get 2 pennies. You can see up to day 10 you've gotten $5, so not even close to $4,000. Let's look at the next 10 days. And by day 20, you've reached $5,242.88. So now what would you prefer, $4,000 or over $5,000? A penny is very powerful, and especially compounding that penny. If you won the lottery, what would you choose? $1 million today or a penny doubled every day for 30 days? Now $1 million, wow, that's a lot of money. Can option 2 reach that amount? Let's look. When you doubled that penny from that $5,000 from day 20, you get to over $5 million on day 30. So you would have earned way more than that $1 million. So that just goes to show you how powerful that penny can be. So let's start talking about choosing to save now. So take out your notes if you'd like to take notes with it. And we're going to start with saving before we get into investing. So what is saving? Saving is an accumulation of excess funds by intentionally spending less than you earn. And this results in savings, which is a portion of your income not spent on consumption, which is the purchase of goods and services. So you're saving that money instead of spending it. Why save? Your present self impacts your future self. By saving money today, you will have financial security in the future. Emergency savings is cash set aside to cover the cost of unexpected events. Short-term goals and expenses are to pay for items that aren't a part of your typical spending plan. And financial security, lowering stress, lowering negative emotions, these are all reasons to save. And examples of emergency savings could be anything from car repair to a medical emergency or anything like that. So now that we've talked about why save, let's talk about more about saving and reducing financial risk and uncertainty. So think about assets that you have for emergencies. We talk about our statement of financial position, which we've already did. Savings is a monetary asset. It's very liquid. That means that you can get the cash from your savings account pretty easily. So how much money should be saved? At least 6 months worth of expenses and emergency savings is suggested. Now many people don't have that, but that is a really great way to go. So if you have $2,000 in monthly expenses, for 6 months, you'd want to save $12,000. Now, it's quite a bit of money, but it is possible. It depends on your income level, how many dependents you have, meaning children usually, or people you take care of, job security, and insurance coverage. So all of those things will kind of depend on how much money you need to have. Saving on an income and expense statement. Now, when we talk about income and expenses, saving is a form of unearned income when it's used to pay for an expense. So then it goes right here. And saving is an expense when money is being saved. So it can go in either spot depending on if you're using it or if you're actually saving it. We're not going to do this part right now, but just think about things that you would like to have in your future and how much things cost and how you would start saving for that. So if you could just think about anything like that, that would be great. Identifying money to save. So examine your current spending. What changes can you make to reduce your current spending? Are items a need or a want? Consider small daily expenses and consider large, often monthly expenses. So these are all different places you can look when you're deciding, okay, how am I going to save? I need to spend, I have all the money I make has to go somewhere. Well, is there any changes that we can make? So lots of different ways that you can reduce spending. If you just think about what do you buy often? Do you often go buy a soda or a coffee? Do you often have big expenses of things that you might pay for, maybe for your car or just clothing? So if you increase income or decrease expenses, those are both ways to save money. You can do it yourself instead of paying someone, and that trade-off would be investing your time and your skills. So maybe going on YouTube and learning how to do something instead of paying someone to do it for you. What can you do yourself to save money now? Even learning these things, you don't have to pay a financial advisor. You can learn yourself what you can do. So creating a savings plan, setting a goal. What are you saving for? How much needs to be saved? How can the goal be achieved? Is the goal realistic? And when will the goal be reached? It's important to remember that setting a goal is really a good way to help us meet our plans for what we want to save for and how much needs to be saved. We can choose not to set goals, but by doing that, we have a much better chance of reaching them, especially if we write them down, and SMART goals are good too. So let's talk about next what makes sure our goal is realistic. Saving money for the future means we're giving up something to purchase in the present. So we want to ensure the trade-offs are realistic and the opportunity cost of what is given up to save is not too high. Meaning, if there's something really important to us and we choose not to give that up, we're not going to be able to save money for the future if we can't give up something now. So it has to be realistic. If it's something really important to you, find something else that we can make for a trade-off. It's got to be realistic. Saving can be difficult, and many people don't have much in savings. If you read articles online, you'll see that a lot of people don't have a lot in savings, especially not 6 months worth. It's hard to give up things in the current. So this is the part that you do not have to do again, but just think about how you could make some changes. Just think right now, even if you don't spend a lot of money, what are some small things you could do to start saving for your future? Whether it's college, a new car, anything that you have upcoming that you want money for. So paying yourself first. Your present self impacts your future self, so save a predetermined amount of money. Do it every time you're paid before using the money for spending and make it automatic. And by doing this, the money will be set aside. You won't even think about doing it. It's just automatic. It's a habit. You'll continue to build your savings this way. Save money provides for your future self and can increase in value. The time value of money is your money available at the present time, which is today. And it's worth more than the same amount if received in the future because of inflation and prices change. Time, money, and interest rate, they all work together. We'll keep referring back to this, just like the puzzle pieces in a previous presentation. What is interest? Interest is the price of money, and your interest rate is the percent rate used to calculate your interest. Interest can be earned or paid. We talked about that in our banking unit. Banks, credit unions offer secure accounts to save money. When you don't withdraw interest, the interest earns interest, and that's called compounding interest, earning interest on interest. In our next presentation, we'll talk about simple interest, compound interest, and how to figure those out.